Just as the Colossus watches over Gonfalon Bay, I was supposed to keep the Alliance leaders safe. I failed in that, but at least they aren't in the Ascendant Order's hands. Not yet, anyway. What did Captain Colleen and the others have to say, dear? Breton nobles? Yes. We heard that as well when the Ascendant Lord and the Magus were speaking in the crypts. That's something to go on. And if the Alliance leaders didn't end up in the Shallows, we'll need to look elsewhere. What else, dear? Well, that's a lead we can investigate. I'd like to have a chat with Dockmaster Arnauld about that and a great many other things. I detest being lied to, and he did it with such conviction. You're still on retainer, dear. Would you care to join me? The Dockmaster's home overlooks the harbor to the west. Jakan and I will meet you there. First Quentin, now this. I hardly know who to trust. Times like these, I take a moment to contemplate the Colossus in the harbor. It helps clear my thoughts. That's one of the wonders of the archipelago, dear. The locals are very proud of their statue, even if few of them know the real story behind who it represents. I like it as well. One of the reasons I bought the manor. Such a spectacular view. The Colossus of Gonfalon Bay is Baron Admiral Bendu Olo, though most on the mainland would know him as the Colovian King of Anvil. He formed the All Flags Navy around 2260 in the First Era to gain vengeance against the Slode for the Thracian Plague. The largest allied naval force in Tamrielic history. Ships from every nation and province participated, and many of the vessels were built right here on High Isle. The fleet launched from here and rained destruction upon Thras for their treachery. Nothing, my dear, but you asked. Lord Bakara selected High Isle for the peace talks because of that history, though. The All Flags Navy recalls a time when disparate people united in common cause. He hopes to inspire the delegates to do the same.
That lady Arabelle, she's something else. I might have to start reading those Investigator Vale books.
Yeah.
Come on, let's do this together. What did you find? Let me see.
This is a mess.
I imagine the Ascendant Order ruffians loitering outside had something to do with that. Let's look around. The Ascendant Magus did bribe the Dockmaster, just as Captain Colleen said. A few drops of dried blood? A scuffle, but not a murder. Someone planning to depart doesn't set a meal on the table. I think I have a picture of what transpired here. Let's talk, my dear. Nothing packed, food left on the table, and signs of a recent scuffle. I think it's safe to say Dockmaster Arnaud found that his Ascendant Order friends weren't entirely satisfied with their arrangement. They've obviously spirited him away. The Dockmaster ignored the wishes of the Ascendant Magus. Captain Colleen saw Arnaud collect another payment at the lock. I suspect he got greedy, and once he proved he wouldn't stay bribed, well, he became a liability. The Ascendant Order's throwing around a lot of coin on High Isle. If we follow the gold, we'll find someone with wealth and local influence behind this. Another clue that a High Isle noble is involved. Perhaps they want to keep the war going. Profit, of course. That's what it always comes down to. Lord Baccaro should be able to tell us which nobles stand to lose if the war ends. Go to Steadfast Manor, northwest of the city. I'll have Jakarn look for the Dockmaster and then meet you there. Almost certainly. As I said, we must be careful about whom we trust. It is a concern, but it can also work to our advantage. Gold only buys loyalty for so long, and I suspect our adversaries are not as organized as they appear. We know their opening move didn't go as planned. They were interrogating the captains to try to find the missing alliance leaders. Now they've taken the Dockmaster, who would have been more useful to them where he was. They don't trust each other. I doubt it. If Dockmaster Arnaud knew where the alliance leaders were, he would have happily sold that information to the Ascendant Magus in exchange for his freedom. We know he didn't because the Order is still looking for them. I suspect the Order wants power, not peace. When the throne is vacant, your prospects of becoming Emperor suddenly seem a good deal more promising. That sort of prize might tempt a noble with just the right mix of ambition, gold, and imagination. Lord Baccaro worked diligently to bring the peace talks to High Isle. Not everyone thought that was a good idea. I'm curious as to who opposed him and why. Better yet, he won't voice suspicions without good cause. We can rely on his discretion.
I want to help, Lady Arabelle, but I'm concerned for the safety of my retainers.
My associate might be able to help in that regard, Lord Baccaro. Satisfying our curiosity will have to wait. 2 of Lord Baccaro's couriers have run into trouble. If the Ascendant Order is involved, we need to do what we can to help them. Speak to Lord Baccaro and offer your services. I'll add it to your pay.
Lady Arabelle asks about the nobility, while 2 of my retainers are missing. The Society of the Steadfast will do whatever is necessary to keep its people safe. She mentioned the Ascendant Order might be involved. Do you think that's possible? Yes, I understand that you and Lady Arabelle have tangled with these brigands before. They claim to be knights, but they have no honor. Will you do as Lady Arabelle suggested and look for my retainers? I would consider it a personal favor. I sent Grenier and Denise to retrieve a shipment from the Navir docks, but I expected them back ages ago. They were traveling the road to the south. I just pray no evil befell them. The supplies we can lose, but good people are irreplaceable. Thank you, my friend. I'll confer with Lady Arabelle while we await your return. I'll tell her everything I know about the nobility of High Isle, if she really thinks that will help. I knew peace would be hard to achieve, but I never expected a war.
Amazing! Look at you go! That bag either has something valuable, something useless, or a body part inside it.
Yeah. Yeah.
This place gives me the creeps. Don't mess with a street kid.
You return alone. I take it the news is not good. Grenier and Denise were not just retainers. They were friends. The Steadfast shall miss them, and so shall I. Please, tell me what happened. Grenier and Denise were helping arrange a banquet at Castle Nevere. Then they were to collect the supplies and return here. What could they have seen that would cost them their lives? The banquet is just to welcome our royal guests to the island. The Ascendant Order, plundering Steadfast supplies and killing our retainers. Damn. It was brave of Grenier to try to fight back, but foolish. The supplies weren't worth their lives. So Lady Arabelle informed me. I hesitate to accuse anyone, but perhaps you should join me at Castle Nevere. All the nobles of High Isle will be there, and if my retainers did see something at the castle, perhaps you can determine what that was. Duchess Elea of House Dufort is hosting the banquet. She's decided to go ahead and throw the party, even though our guests of honor are still missing. Go to Castle Nevere's courtyard. Introduce yourself when you arrive. Be discreet, please. Duchess Elea wants to project confidence, especially in light of the current situation. Rumors travel swiftly in the archipelago. The people need to believe we have things under control. I expected to pay a ransom and have the delegates back by now. Ridiculous. No one opposes peace. It's just that some of the nobles questioned if this were the right time and place. Duchess Elea, for example, didn't want to bring the mainland's troubles to High Isle, not without hope our efforts would bear fruit. Count Leonard of House Mornard enjoys brisk profits by supplying all sides in the war. He doesn't want that to end too abruptly, especially not in a way that makes Elea and House Dufort look good. He detests that she decided to host the talks. Rivals and partners. House Mornard built its wealth on trade. They rely on House Dufort ships to carry their goods. But the two families have long vied with each other for primacy. The Mornards resent the fact that the Duforts rule High Isle. My family has always believed that wealth is meant to foster good works. When the three alliances went to war, I made the decision to do whatever I could to help common folk caught in their violent wake. So I started the Society of the Steadfast. We're not a religious organization per se, but we do take inspiration from the teachings of Standar. We establish healing centers and other works to show compassion and mercy to those touched by this terrible war, soldiers and commoners both. We're a small society that mostly works near the battlefields of Cyrodiil. I did turn a portion of my estate on High Isle into a healing center. We bring the badly wounded here to recuperate. The peace talks naturally grew out of our other efforts.
It's a shame the Ascendant Order got to Lord Baccaro's retainers before you could. What could they have seen that warranted their deaths? Perhaps we'll learn more at Castle Nevere, although I'm certainly not in the mood for a party. And our missing guests of honor will no doubt be the main topic of discussion. This is a chance to listen, as well as ask questions. Make sure you speak to Elea Dufort, Demar Dufort, and John Menard. They'll be the most important nobles present. Until we know more, I suspect everybody. But if any of the nobles are funding the Ascendant Order, I think it likely that it's one of the grand families of High Isle. That means House Dufort or House Menard. Either way, we'll know more soon. Elea is the Duchess of House Dufort, and nominal ruler of High Isle. Demard is her brother and a count. John Menard is the highest-ranking noble of House Menard, currently on High Isle. He's Count Leonard's cousin, representing house interests here.
Yeah.
Might as well enjoy ourselves while we're here. Do you still prefer a Russafeld red, my lady?
That would be delightful. Thank you, Baccaro. Introduce yourself to the nobility, my friend. And remember, even the smallest detail could be the clue we seek.
It's an honor to be invited to one of Duchess Alea's parties. I've heard she only allows members of her own family into the castle. Most people never set foot inside the walls, let alone rub shoulders with the highest nobility of High Isle.
A pity. This would have been a truly grand occasion under better circumstances. I suppose we must make do. Conduct your investigation with discretion, please. You do not want any of these nobles to mark you as an enemy.
Here we are. Now go make your rounds, dear. Remember, I'm known in these circles, so chances are good they know you too. Definitely speak with Duchess Alea, Count Demard, and Viscount John, and anyone else who happens to catch your interest.
A pleasure to meet you. This one is called Nadaritra. Rarely has she found herself in such a gathering of wealth. But then, Nadaritra's business ventures and the sisters are proving most profitable.
You don't look like one of High Isle's grandees. You must be here for the conference. I came with the Aldmeri Dominion's advance delegation. But without Queen Irene, I wonder if there's any point to holding the talks at all.
You look a little out of place here. Sir Moric Gerard, at your service.
Wherever High King Emmerich is, I'm sure he'll be cheered by the thought that the Duchess's wine and minstrels aren't going to waste.
I don't believe we've met. John Monard, a pleasure. My family is in shipping. We import goods from the mainland and send wares from the archipelago to markets in Tamriel. You're the investigator working with Lady Arabelle, aren't you? The Duchess explained everything to the court just before you arrived. If Lady Arabelle had consulted us, things would be different. We know what hazards await careless captains making the approach to High Isle. Her ships were simply unprepared. Don't tell me you buy into this Ascendant Order nonsense. A shadowy order of knights working to undermine the governments all across Tamriel? It's a ruse, my friend. A convenient fiction to protect the flawless name of House Dufort. Oh. Alea gained her station by currying favor in High Rock. Then she made a show of backing Lord Baccaro's steadfast society. But ruining the peace talks and getting heads of state killed? Blame must be placed. And she'd never fall on that sword herself. My family ruled the archipelago for generations, but the Duforts were never happy in our shadow. They spent years poisoning the court against us. And when my uncle Avreep quietly supported King Rancer a few years back, it paid off for them. The High King stripped my uncle of the ducal title and gave it to the Duforts. It was an outrage, really. We took no part in Rancer's war. Well, at least the Duforts didn't get everything they wanted. We kept most of our holdings, and it eats at them. Goodness, no. That honor falls to my cousin Leonard, and he can have it. I wouldn't want the responsibility. No, I'm content managing our affairs here on High Isle. I leave the larger concerns of the business and house to my cousin, the Count.
Such a waste. I have little patience for the vanity of our noble houses on the best of days. Right now, I'm sure we all have better things we could be doing. I suspect you agree. You're the one assisting Lord Baccaro and Lady Arabelle, aren't you? I try to keep up on matters of state, but I confess, Alea told us all about you. I am Count de Mard, the Duchess's brother and court mage of House Dufort. Tell me, has your investigation uncovered news regarding a sudden storm that appeared recently? A hypothesis that matches my own. While my sister chases bandit knights across the countryside, I wonder about the druids who make the wild parts of High Isle their home. They have little love for civilized culture. They could be responsible. I don't think that storm was natural. The druids wield old magics and consort with spirits. It is well within their abilities to summon such a tempest. They mostly keep to themselves, but I suspect a ruse. Those are your culprits, mark my words. Magic is the legacy and heritage of the Breton people. Oh, I spent my time mastering the sword and knightly pursuits in my youth, but I believe that a true Breton must study both halves of our nature, and perhaps the ways of the druids, too. We Bretons trace our ancestry to Needs and Elves who intermingled during the early history of High Rock. Therefore, spellcraft is in our blood, and we all at least have some talent with magic. I find the subject fascinating and decided to embrace it. No, some have forgotten our traditions. Were it not for my talent, I doubt my sister would bother with a court mage. She sends me to look after Dufort interests in ports across Tamriel, rather than making full use of my arcane skills. A pity.
Well, I'd really hoped to speak with High King Emmerich today, but I'll settle for partaking of this exquisite banquet. Duchess Alea knows how to entertain.
Lord Baccaro has arrived, Duchess. He brought that Lady Arabelle with him. You're working with that would-be investigator. I can't imagine what you think you'll find here. You should be out beating the bushes for those bandit knights or scouring the back alleys of Gonfalon Bay. You'll find plenty of criminals there. Had being the operative word. Clearly her best days are behind her. I cannot fathom her methods. The delegates are lost, so what's the point of distressing the Duchess's guests with incessant questions? Besides, we have the situation well in hand. I have instructed our house knights to question known malcontents all over the island and offer hefty sums of gold for information. Criminals are quick to turn on their own for a small handout. This so-called Ascendant Order can't hide forever.
Welcome to Castle Navir. You're Lady Arabelle's assistant, yes? Then you know these festivities are only for appearances' sake. Our guests of honor have yet to be found. Rest assured, I intend to bring the radicals behind this plot to justice. I'm aware of most things that happen on my isle.
It's true we didn't connect reports of mysterious knights to the Ascendant Order until recently, but now that we know they are one and the same, we'll quickly bring them to heel. I suggest that you and Lady Arabelle leave this matter in our hands. My knights have already pinpointed several sites where the Ascendant Order gathers. They are scouring High Isle for our missing guests even as we speak. Which is why I prefer to handle this discreetly. I suspect House Mornard is behind this. They profit greatly from the war, and they still hold a grudge against my house for overshadowing their own. Frankly, I put nothing past them. One should be careful when talking about one's neighbors. Still, Count Mornard's dislike of my family is well known. Years ago, his father backed King Ronsor of Shornhelm in his dispute with High King Emmerich. Emmerich did not forget it. He punished Avreep Mornard by stripping him of his ducal title and granting it to my father instead. The Mornards remain counts, with holdings and estates throughout the Isles. But the Duforts are now the Dukes of the Sisters. My family builds ships. Our shipyards construct the finest vessels to ply the western seas. In reward for our service, High King Emmerich granted us the Duchy of Sisters. We rule with care and compassion for all, even the Mornards.
Might I offer you a refreshment, friend? Didn't think I'd miss this little soiree, did you? Listen, I have it on good authority from a very accommodating chambermaid, in fact, that the Duchess has been looking into the Ascendant Order on her own. Well, I've got a plan. Not Jakarn, waiter, Fred. I'm in disguise. I told you about the chambermaid, right? She's one of the Duchess's personal assistants. Well, she told me where the Duchess keeps her sensitive documents, among other unmentionable items. Nobles and the upper staff never pay attention to the common help. I easily filched a key from that stuck-up steward Hercian. While I cause a distraction, you go take a look. Duchess Alea has a private study somewhere beyond the northeast door. I'll lure the guards away from the doors, but I'll need your help. Talk to one of the musicians and ask them to play the tune Stagger and Sway. It's an old favorite of mine. I'll take care of the rest.
Something you need, friend? I don't really take requests. Duchess Alea provided a list of approved songs she wanted performed. That one definitely isn't one of them. Not that she would notice. I don't think anyone is really listening to the music. It's good to see that someone appreciates the arts. All right then, you'll have your song.
Lords and ladies of the court, I dedicate this song and dance to the most buxom, curvaceous, voluptuous of all royals, Duchess Alea.
You get down from there at once. Stop this nonsense.
reign begins today. Join us, or be swept aside. Storm and fire will bring down the old. Lightning and lava will herald in a new age.
Don't underestimate us!
Was a warning. No one is beyond our reach. Stand aside and you will find a place in the new regime. Stand against us and you will be brought to your knees.
I am all right. Fortunately, Lady Arabelle was close at hand to protect me from those terrorists, and the rest of the guests managed to retreat into the castle safely. I suggest you consult with Lady Arabelle as to how we respond to this outrage.
Guess I wasn't the only one who decided to crash this party. That was the Ascendant Magus himself. He told the high and mighty of the archipelago to stay out of his way. And I think they just might. But we won't, will we?
Oh good, you're all right. It seems our adversary has decided to send a message to all those in attendance. Submit or die. A classic. Did you uncover anything useful before the Ascendant Magus made his entrance? I see. Clearly Duchess Alea's investigation hasn't gotten very far. Perhaps we can make better use of the leads she's been developing. But we have little time to waste. The Ascendant Magus demonstrated real power. Did you notice how the ground shook when he unleashed his storm? That's not a magic I've seen before. Somehow his storm magic is causing earthquakes. At least he hasn't recovered the Alliance leaders yet. We still have time. Because the Ascendant Magus has made a show of wanting us to fear him. Why would he care if he had what he wanted and couldn't be stopped? No, the royals elude him, somehow. But his magic, I wonder. Among the other problems plaguing High Isle, lava vents have begun to open in random locations. Between the ground shaking and the storms, could the Magus have stirred the volcano? Let's return to my manor so we can study these items more closely. Lord Baccaro, it may not be safe to return to Steadfast Manor.
Nonsense. I refuse to hide from these cretins. I'll double my guard, but they won't drive me from my home.
Very well. I'll check in with you later. Jakan, let's go. And put on a shirt, my dear.
The Colossus!
These tremors grow more powerful. I heard that volcanic fissures are bursting open across the Isles.
First the storm, now this? It must be the work of the Ascendant Order.
You give them too much credit. An earthquake destroyed the Gonfalon Colossus.
Yes, an Ascendant Earthquake! Trust Zaji, he knows. This is a bad sign, Walker. Perhaps we should move our hideout onto a vessel at sea. At this rate, Zaji fears the whole island will crumble beneath our feet.
I have visited High Isle several times over the years. Never have I seen the ground so restless. It is alarming. Could Zaji be right? Could the Ascendant Order be causing these tremors and eruptions? Storm and fire. I am troubled. If the Ascendant Magus can use powerful storm magic against his enemies, does he also command the tremors and volcanic fissures? It is maddening to even contemplate. Oh, Zaji is right to worry then. The loss of a monument might be the least of our concerns if the Ascendant Order can rouse the volcano. Lady Arabelle is inside, friend. Perhaps she'll know what to do.
Was it too much to hope that one of High Isle's nobles would openly admit their guilt? Ah, well. At least we can rule out Duchess Alea. Her notes make it clear she was caught off guard by the attack on the delegates' ships. And this map. Interesting. If this map really points to sites important to the Ascendant Order, then it's our best lead so far. Here, my dear, take this with my thanks. With your continued help, we'll find the royals and discover who's behind the Order before long. We must. The map you acquired provides a number of leads that might help us find High King Emmerich, Queen Irene, and Prince Ernskar. As the line from the Investigator Veil books reads, there's always another mystery. Let's get to it, my dear.